Hey guys, in this video I'll show you how to develop a new product from concept to market. So this is not dropshipping, this is where you want to actually create your own original design manufacturing product, where you want to have specific product that you want to sell to a specific audience, and that product will be unique, will be totally yours, and will potentially disrupt some market. Right? So in this video I want to show you the process that you can go through to develop this kind of product, and the process that you can just replicate again and again with other products in the future. So, these ideas for the products, like for example, if you can see on the screen now, like Tina wrote Eisenberg, for example, she realized that semi-permanent tattoos were lacking when, her daughter was brought some home, and she created the Tatly, which is the community, which is basically the temporary tattoos. Right, so you can buy like these temporary tattoos. So you don't have to kind of like put tattoos and have them for the rest of your life. So she developed this product because of that. So sometimes these ideas come to everyone, right? Where you see something, then it's kind of like it's like a lighting bulb, right? So you see that there is a product, there is a need for a specific product in some marketplace. David Burnett developed the pop sockets. So this is now popular tool, where you can hold your smartphone in your hand, and he's developed this accessory. Now, there's a specific 6-step process that you can follow, and it starts with ideation, right? Basically with idea. And the easiest kind of like way to develop a new product is not to develop a new product from scratch that you don't have a proof of concept. The easiest way is to take something that's already working and just improve based on that. So, for example, you can use the Scamper model. So this is like a useful tool for you to quickly coming up with product ideas by asking questions about existing products. So you can see, for example, substitute, right? So one product could be substitute with another, right? Then combine, for example, if you would have the phone case and battery pack combined into one. You can see quite a lot of these products right now. Adapt, for example, bra with front clasps for nursing, right? So adapt for a specific market for women who are, who have babies, so they can, easily nurse their babies, right? So basically adapt existing product for a new market. Then modify, for example, electric toothbrush with a slicker design, or you can see, for example, like iPhone or MacBook, the iMac, the Apple computer was developed in the first place because the original computers that have been on the market then have been like very ugly, very big, very huge. So Steve Jobs had developed this product first of all as a kind of like nicely designed product. On top of, it was also powerful in terms of the specifications, but design was one of its main selling advantages. Then put to another use, for example, memory foam dog beds. So there are a lot of like memory foam products for adults, for people, but this product basically adapted and put it to another use with dogs or cats, right? So it's kind of like existing product that could be adapted to another market, to serve another market. Then eliminate. For example, Uber eliminates the those huge companies that operate like taxis, right? So they just operate between the person who orders the cab and the customer themselves, right? So pretty much these two parties. Uber is just takes its cut and just organizing the infrastructure. That's it, right? The same with food delivery services. So they're organizing this whole infrastructure and removing the middleman. So rearrange, right? For example, duffel bag that basically making duffel bag so that it also doesn't wrinkle your suits, right? So it's kind of like for another market. So by asking these questions, you can find new ways to find products and to develop products that already have a proof of demand in some existing marketplace, but also could be adapted to a new market so that it can differentiate from other products and also have a proof of concept already. Okay, so this product is actually selling. I know it's selling. Now let's just sell it to another market. The second step in the process is research, right? So there are several ways you can do it, and you can validate your product ideas. So you can talk to your family or friends. You can send out online surveys to get feedback. You can start a crowdfunding campaign even, right? On Kickstarter, Indiegogo. You can ask for feedback on forums like Reddit. You can ask in Facebook groups. You can research online demand using Google Trends. and you can launch a coming soon page to gauge interest via email opt-ins or pre-orders, right? So it's important to get feedback from substantial and unbiased audience, right? So from the audience that, I mean, if that's your family, probably they might just give you money because you're they value your work or they value you. So it won't be like, it will be biased, right? Or your friends, for example. So if you're asking someone who is not biased, then it will be much more relevant. And at the end of the day, all of these like theories and the product on paper, and whether people tell you they like it or not, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters pretty much is whether people would pay money for it. So if people would pay for it on Kickstarter, they would actually open their wallets and pay for it. This is the only indication of the interest, because all of the things, everything that people say, they might say they like the product, but then when the product is actually ready, they might not buy it. So by basically Kickstarter or Indiegogo is an amazing way to validate the product, use other people's money to basically fund the production and give them those products, but at the same time launching a brand. So third step is planning, right? So since product development can quickly become complicated, it's important to take the time to plan before you begin to build your prototype, right? So, and when you eventually approach these manufacturers or start looking for materials, if you don't have idea of how you want your product to look or how you want it to function, it's easy to get lost in the subsequent steps. So the best place to start this is just by having the sketch on paper of how your product should look like, how it should feature, and ideally it should be as detailed as possible. And if you're not good at drawing, I'm not good at drawing, so you can find people on Dribbble, Upwork, or Minty, and they will do these illustrations for you. They will do these sketches for you. If you just explain them exactly what you want to see, and then that's kind of like your initial blueprint. That's kind of like just it starts on paper. And kind of like then it turns into reality. Fourth step is prototyping. So once you have a prototype, you can get it done, right? You can have it like manufactured, and there are different options to do it. So for example, in the fashion and apparel industries, this usually involves working with local seamstress for clothing and accessories, cobbler for shoes, or pattern maker for clothing. And these services can usually be found online by Googling local services in the industry. So you just go to them, tell them so here's how the product looks. I want to have it created. And they would create this prototype for you. So also you would have in big cities, you would have the art, design, or fashion schools where students are trained in these techniques, so you can hire them, and it will be also inefficient. And you can also make like announce like a grant for someone who will actually get this project. So for objects like toys, household accessories, electronics, you might need a 3D rendering in order to make a prototype. And there are people on Upwork or freelancer.com that are very skilled in this, so you can just find someone who has experience with this. It's called CAD, Computer Aided Design and Drafting, and they'll do it for you. So they're also, you can see on the screen there are some examples of this, right? It's kind of like draft and the image of how it would look like. Also, there are tools like SketchUp, Tinkercad, and Vectory if you want to do it by yourself. I wouldn't do it by myself, so I would just like hire someone to do it for me. So with 3D printing, that's another option that you can do. Basically, with, for example, here Chris Little, he is the founder of this company called Wintersmith. So this you can see this is for the whiskey, right? So different accessories for drinking whiskey. You can see for ice, as you can see. So he's developed a prototype his line using quick parts. So I want to show you this tool. So it's quite advanced. So I wouldn't touch it myself. And he was doing it. He did it on a budget and within a few days of time. So all of these products you can see here. So he's developed by himself, right? Pretty much, and he did it, in just a few days of time. So you can see how easy it is. If you actually determined about this, it's quite easy to do. And so here's exactly the blueprint to get it done. So Alex comments of Bullet Kitchen. So you can see they do these knives. Obviously, this is not the product you can sell on Facebook, but good product, and they're doing quite well. So the knives are quite expensive. You can see here $120, and they have developed 3D hubs. So they developed this this prototype with this company called 3D hubs. So you can see like it's totally like online. So you can go through this. You can go through this process, kind of like fill out all of the information. If you have your like CAD files, again, what we have what I just covered like a few minutes ago. If you upload just CAD files, they'll do it for you here. Just upload and they'll give you a quote. Very simple and very painless process. And so it cost him. So you can see he paid like $30 per 3D printed model. So the product that he's now selling for $100, like developing a prototype for it, cost him like $30, right? So you can see how amazing, how cost efficient that can be to actually develop like a totally new product and actually disrupt markets. So obviously this is just a starting point. A lot of moving parts that go into it, but you can see kind of like it's not as complex as when I started researching this, I thought it's much more complex. But then when I started actually going step by step, it turned out it's not as complex. So sourcing, right? There are a lot of different moving parts in this. So there are vendors, there are suppliers. Diversifying your supply chain is if you read the book Shoe Dog by the founder of Nike, Phil Knight. So having different manufacturers and different suppliers, for different materials you will need, and having like different options compared will actually help you to lower your costs, because you'll be able to compare the prices, and you'll be able to identify where is most cost effective to produce your items. And then on this stage, you'll also decide whether you will get your products developed in your local country or overseas. So popular way of using Alibaba to find manufacturers, to look for listings with similar products to your own, and then contact the factory to see if they can produce your specific design. So this is one of the ways to do it, and that's how most people are doing it. And then at this stage, you would also develop the costing. So after this research, planning, prototyping, and sourcing is done, you should have like a clear picture of what it will cost you to produce your product. So you can calculate all of these expenses, all of these quotes from manufacturers, from suppliers. You can kind of like count all of the costs that might be also involved in the selling, for example, in your advertising, and kind of like have the full idea of what it will cost you to produce your item, your profit margins, your net margins. And so that is an amazing starting point. So you already know kind of like where you're standing, whether it will be viable for you for production of these items. So this is it, guys. This is how to develop a new product from concept to market. So this is if you're evolving from dropshipping to these products, like your own products, unique products, then this is the way to go. Wanted to share this with you guys. If you're looking to scale your e-commerce business or Facebook ads, then there's a link below in the description. Click on it, apply for a free strategy session. We'll see if we can help you to scale your sales, and also we'll help you with all of these moving parts once you get to developing your own brand. So click on the link below, apply for a free strategy session. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.